Wow, these sources that you sent over are just incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to take this deep dive with you into the world of thiamine.
Okay.
That's vitamin B1 for those who aren't familiar. And we're going to explore its just absolutely crucial role in plant life. You know, most people might not give thiamine a second thought.
Right.
But it's actually this powerhouse micronutrient that impacts just about everything.
It really does.
From how plants grow to how they handle stress and even defend themselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating how these tiny molecules can have such a huge impact on the entire plant kingdom. It's like we're uncovering a hidden world within each leaf and each stem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before we get too far into it, I want to just give a huge shout out to all of you listening and engaging with our content.
Yes.
You know, your support truly means the world to us.
It does.
And it really is what keeps these deep dives going.
Yeah.
So if you're enjoying this episode, please do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with your friends. The more people we can reach, the more we can explore these fascinating corners of science together.
We really believe that knowledge is power, and the more we understand about the natural world, the better equipped we are to face the challenges ahead.
Okay, enough of the pep talk for now. Let's get back to this amazing world of thiamine. One of the things that struck me right away is that thiamine isn't just hanging out in plants doing nothing. It actually transforms into this supercharged molecule called thiamine pyrophosphate, or TPP for short.
Yeah, that's right. And TPP acts as what we call a coenzyme. Think of it as a special key that unlocks the potential of certain enzymes, allowing them to carry out really essential tasks within the plant. It's like a tiny catalyst that sets a whole chain of events in motion.
So it's not just a building block, it's like a master conductor orchestrating all sorts of processes within the plant.
Exactly. And one of the most fundamental processes that it's involved in is carbohydrate metabolism. This is how plants convert sugars, their primary source of energy, into usable forms.
Okay.
TPP is absolutely crucial for this process, ensuring that the plant's engine runs smoothly and efficiently.
So it's kind of like helping plants convert sunshine into energy. Like a solar panel, but on a molecular level.
Right.
That makes sense. But how does that actually work?
Well, imagine the plant as this really complex factory with different departments that are all working together to produce energy and building materials. TPP is like the foreman in this factory, making sure that the assembly lines in those departments, processes like glycolysis, the pentose phosphate pathway, and the citric acid cycle, are all running smoothly. These pathways break down sugars step by step, releasing energy and producing the raw materials that are needed to build other molecules essential for the plant's growth and survival.
So it's not just about keeping the lights on, it's about using those sugars to manufacture all sorts of things that the plant needs.
Yes.
Like a plant-based 3D printer.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of building, thiamine also plays this really vital role in amino acid biosynthesis.
Okay.
These amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, which are essential for virtually every aspect of plant life. Structure enzymes, signaling molecules, you name it.
So thiamine is involved in building the very fabric of the plant.
It is.
And it doesn't stop there, right? I was reading that it's also crucial for lipid synthesis.
Absolutely. Lipids are fats and oils that serve many crucial functions in plants, most notably as components of cell membranes.
Oh.
These membranes act like a plant's skin, protecting each cell and regulating what goes in and out. Without healthy lipids, the plant cells would be vulnerable and inefficient.
Wow, so thiamine is a true multitasker involved in energy production, building proteins, and even maintaining the integrity of the plant cells. It's like the ultimate cellular handyman.
It really is. But what's even more impressive is how thiamine helps plants cope with stress. We're not just talking about the everyday stress of life, we're talking about environmental challenges that can really put a plant's survival at risk.
Yeah, that's right. And we know that plants face all sorts of stressors in their environment.
They do.
From drought and heat to pests and diseases. So how does thiamine come to the rescue?
Well, think of it this way. When a plant encounters a stressful situation, its internal systems kind of get thrown out of whack.
Okay.
Thiamine steps in to help restore balance and protect the plant from damage. It's like having this built-in stress relief system.
So instead of reaching for a yoga mat and a green smoothie, plants rely on thiamine.
Exactly. For example, during a drought, thiamine helps the plant conserve water by influencing the opening and closing of tiny pores on the leaves called stomata. It can also help regulate the plant's internal salt balance,
Interesting.
protecting cells from damage caused by excessive salt buildup. And it even helps to protect the delicate machinery within the cells, like the chloroplasts that are responsible for photosynthesis from damage caused by reactive oxygen species. Those are harmful molecules that can wreak havoc on cells.
Wow. Thiamine is like a tiny superhero shielding the plant from all sorts of environmental assaults.
It really is. And its role in protecting plants from biotic stress, that's stress caused by other living organisms like pests and pathogens, is equally impressive.
Okay, so not only can thiamine help plants weather the storm, it can also help them fight off invaders.
Precisely. Thiamine plays a role in boosting the plant's immune system, helping it recognize and respond to threats. It can trigger the production of defensive compounds that act like chemical weapons against pathogens, or even signal to beneficial microbes in the soil to come to the plant's aid.
That's incredible. It's like having a whole army of microscopic allies ready to defend the plant.
And what's fascinating is that thiamine doesn't just act defensively. It also plays a key role in plant growth and development.
Okay, so thiamine is involved in building the plant, protecting it from stress, and even helping it grow. Is there anything this tiny molecule can't do?
Well, it's not magic, but it's certainly a vital player in the plant's overall health and vitality. One of the key areas where thiamine shines is in photosynthesis, the process by which plants capture sunlight and convert it into energy.
Right? That's the process that keeps the whole plant world running.
Yeah.
So how does thiamine contribute to that?
Well, thiamine is essential for the smooth functioning of the enzymes involved in photosynthesis. It ensures that the light energy captured by the plant is efficiently converted into chemical energy, which the plant can then use to fuel its growth and development.
So it's like making sure the solar panels are working at peak efficiency.
Exactly. And this efficient energy production, in turn, influences a whole range of growth processes, from root development to the formation of flowers and fruits.
Speaking of roots, I've heard that thiamine is often used to promote root growth in gardening and agriculture. Is there any truth to that?
Well, that's a bit of a misconception. While
Right.
thiamine is vital for overall plant health, and a healthy plant will naturally develop strong roots,
Right.
it doesn't directly stimulate root growth.
So it's more like creating a supportive environment for root development rather than acting like a root growth hormone.
Precisely. It's like saying that a healthy diet will support healthy hair growth. It's not a direct cause, but it creates the right conditions for it to happen.
That makes sense. But there's more to thiamine than meets the eye, right? I was reading some really tantalizing hints about some lesser-known roles that it might play in plants.
You're right, there's still so much we're uncovering about this fascinating molecule. For example, some research suggests that thiamine might play a role in DNA repair.
Wait, DNA repair? That's like fixing the blueprints of life?
It is.
What could thiamine possibly have to do with that?
It's still a bit of a mystery, but some studies have shown that thiamine can help protect DNA from damage caused by things like UV radiation or oxidative stress.
So it's not just a builder and protector, it's also a guardian of the plant's genetic code.
Exactly. And there's even more intrigue surrounding the possibility that thiamine might act as a signaling molecule within plants.
Okay, now you've really got my attention. What do you mean by signaling molecule?
Well, just like we use language to communicate with each other, cells within a plant need to communicate to coordinate their activities. They do this using a variety of signaling molecules that act like messengers transmitting information throughout the plant.
Okay.
It's like this complex communication network within the plant.
So you're saying thiamine might be part of this internal communication network within the plant.
That's right. It's still early days in this area of research, but some scientists believe that changes in thiamine levels within the plant could act as signals, triggering specific responses to environmental cues or developmental changes.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. It's like uncovering a secret language within the plant kingdom.
Exactly. And the more we learn about these intricate communication systems, the better we'll understand how plants respond to their environment and how we can support their health and resilience.
This is absolutely fascinating, but I have to admit, I'm also starting to wonder what happens when plants don't get enough thiamine.
That's a crucial question, and one that unfortunately has some serious consequences for plant health.
Yeah.
When plants are deprived of thiamine, it's like taking away a vital piece of their operating system.
Okay.
Things start to go wrong at a fundamental level.
So what are the signs that a plant might be suffering from thiamine deficiency?
One of the most obvious signs is stunted growth.
Okay.
The plant simply doesn't grow as tall or as robust as it should. You might also notice a yellowing of the leaves, a condition called chlorosis, which indicates that the plant's ability to produce chlorophyll, that vital pigment that captures sunlight for photosynthesis, is impaired.
So it's like the plant is losing its energy and vitality, literally fading away.
Exactly. And in more severe cases, you might even see tissue death called necrosis, which often appears as brown spots or patches on the leaves. All of this can lead to reduced yields, fewer flowers, fruits, or overall plant matter produced.
That's a big problem, especially when we're talking about crops that are essential for food production. But what causes thiamine deficiency in the first place?
Well, sometimes it's simply a matter of the soil not containing enough thiamine.
Okay.
Different soils have different nutrient profiles, and some are naturally deficient in certain elements, including thiamine.
So it's like the plant is trying to build a house, but it's missing some of the bricks.
That's a good analogy. But even if the soil has enough thiamine, there can be other factors that interfere with the plant's ability to access or utilize it effectively.
Like what?
Well, environmental stresses like extreme temperatures, drought, or even flooding can disrupt the plant's internal processes,
Okay.
making it harder for it to absorb or utilize thiamine.
So it's like the plant is so busy dealing with the crisis at hand that it can't focus on getting the nutrients that it needs.
Exactly. And in some cases, there might be genetic factors at play. Some plants might have mutations that affect their ability to synthesize thiamine efficiently, making them more susceptible to deficiency, even when the nutrient is available in the soil.
So it's a complex interplay of factors, both environmental and genetic. But the good news is that we can help plants overcome these challenges, right?
Absolutely. And that's where thiamine supplementation comes in. By providing plants with extra thiamine, we can help them overcome deficiencies and thrive even in challenging conditions.
That's great to hear. So how do we go about giving plants this thiamine boost?
There are a couple of common methods. One is through foliar sprays, where a thiamine solution is applied directly to the plant's leaves. This allows for rapid absorption and can be particularly helpful during times of stress or when a quick response is needed.
So it's like giving the plant a vitamin shot straight to the source.
Exactly. Another method is through soil drenching, where a thiamine solution is applied to the soil around the plant's roots. This method is slower acting, but can provide a more sustained release of thiamine over time.
So it's like giving the plant a slow-release vitamin tablet and nourishing it from the ground up.
Precisely. And the choice of method depends on the specific situation, the type of plant, and the severity of the deficiency.
This is all incredibly insightful. I'm starting to see why thiamine is considered such a crucial nutrient for plant health, and why understanding its role is so important, especially as we face the growing challenges of climate change and food security.
Absolutely. Thiamine plays a fundamental role in the plant's ability to thrive in a changing world, and by understanding its complex roles, we can better support the health and resilience of our planet's vegetation.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive so far,
Yes, it has.
but we're going to have to take a quick break.
Right.
When we come back, we'll delve into this fascinating connection between thiamine and food security.
Okay,
Stay tuned.
I'm excited. Welcome back. I'm so eager to continue our exploration of thiamine and really delve into its connection with food security.
Okay.
It's a topic that's incredibly relevant as we grapple with this challenge of feeding a growing global population in the face of climate change and resource constraints.
That's right. And it's fascinating to think that something as tiny as thiamine could play such a significant role in addressing these global challenges.
It really is.
I'm ready to dig deeper.
Well, as we've discussed, thiamine is involved in so many crucial aspects of plant health, from energy production and stress tolerance to growth and development. And when you think about it, all of those factors are directly linked to food security.
I see what you mean. Healthy, resilient plants are more likely to produce abundant yields of nutritious food, which is essential for feeding people.
Exactly. And as the climate changes, bringing more extreme weather events like droughts, floods, and heat waves, the ability of crops to withstand these stresses becomes even more critical.
So by ensuring that plants have adequate thiamine, we're essentially giving them a better chance of surviving and thriving in these increasingly challenging conditions.
Precisely. And that translates to a more stable and secure food supply, which is fundamental to human well-being.
It's amazing to think that we might be able to address such a complex issue as food security by focusing on something as seemingly simple as a single nutrient. But how do we actually put this knowledge into practice? How can we leverage our understanding of thiamine to make a real difference in the world?
That's a great question. There are several promising avenues being explored. One approach is to breed crops that are more efficient at producing or utilizing thiamine.
So we're talking about creating super crops that are naturally packed with thiamine.
In a way, yes. Scientists are identifying the genes involved in thiamine biosynthesis and using that knowledge to develop crop varieties that have naturally higher thiamine levels or are better able to utilize the thiamine that's available to them.
That sounds like a game changer. But what about crops that are already being grown? Is there anything we can do to boost their thiamine levels?
Absolutely. Optimizing thiamine fertilization strategies is another important approach. This involves figuring out the best ways to provide plants with supplemental thiamine, whether it's through foliar sprays, soil drenching, or even developing slow-release fertilizers that provide a steady supply of the nutrient over time.
So it's like fine-tuning the plant's diet to ensure it's getting the right nutrients at the right time.
Precisely. And researchers are also exploring the use of beneficial microbes, tiny organisms that live in the soil and can enhance nutrient availability to plants.
I've heard about these microbes. They're like tiny farmers, helping plants access the nutrients they need. Could they be used to boost thiamine levels as well?
That's right. Some microbes have the ability to produce thiamine or to convert it into forms that are more readily available to plants. So by introducing these beneficial microbes into the soil, we could potentially enhance thiamine uptake by crops.
That's amazing. It's like harnessing the power of nature to improve plant nutrition. But I'm also wondering about the bigger picture. How does thiamine research fit into the broader context of sustainable agriculture?
That's a crucial point. Thiamine research aligns perfectly with the principles of sustainable agriculture, which emphasizes environmental stewardship, economic viability, and social responsibility.
So it's not just about increasing yield. It's about doing so in a way that's beneficial for the environment and for people.
Exactly. By enhancing plant health and resilience, thiamine can contribute to reducing the reliance on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, which can have negative environmental impacts.
That's a huge win for the environment. But what about the economic and social aspects?
Well, by improving yields and reducing losses, thiamine can enhance the economic viability of farming, which is crucial for supporting farmers and rural communities. And by contributing to a more stable and secure food supply, thiamine research ultimately supports social responsibility, ensuring access to nutritious food for all.
So it's a win-win-win situation, better for the environment, better for farmers, and better for people's health and well-being. It's truly remarkable how something as small as thiamine can have such far-reaching positive impacts.
It really is, and it's a testament to the interconnectedness of life on Earth. What happens at the microscopic level within the cells of a plant can have ripple effects that extend throughout ecosystems and societies.
I love that perspective. It reminds us that we can't address global challenges in isolation. We need to understand the complex web of interactions and find solutions that benefit the entire system.
Precisely. And I think thiamine research is a perfect example of how science can help us navigate these complexities and find pathways toward a more sustainable future.
Well, you've certainly given me a lot to think about. But before we wrap up our discussion on thiamine and food security, I'm curious about some of the challenges and unanswered questions that researchers are still grappling with in this field.
Of course. As with any scientific endeavor, there's always more to learn. For instance, we still need to fully understand the intricate mechanisms of thiamine biosynthesis and transport within plants. And we need to figure out how to translate this knowledge into practical applications that are both effective and scalable.
Right. It's one thing to understand the science in a controlled lab setting, but it's quite another to implement it on a large scale in real-world farming conditions. What are some of the other hurdles researchers are facing?
Well, one challenge is the sheer diversity of plant species and varieties. Each plant has its own unique thiamine requirements and responses to supplementation. So we need to develop tailored approaches that are specific to the crops and environments we're working with.
So it's like personalized medicine, but for plants.
Exactly. And another challenge is the cost. While thiamine itself is relatively inexpensive, developing and implementing some of these innovative technologies and breeding programs can require significant investment.
So it's about finding solutions that are not only scientifically sound, but also economically viable and accessible to farmers around the world.
Precisely. And it's also important to remember that thiamine is just one piece of the puzzle. We can't rely on a single nutrient to solve all of our food security challenges. We need a holistic approach that encompasses soil health, water management, pest control, and a host of other factors.
It's about understanding the complex web of interactions that contribute to a healthy and productive agricultural system. And thiamine research is a valuable thread in that web, helping us weave together a more sustainable and resilient future for food production.
Well said. But now I believe it's time we shifted our focus to some of the less explored facets of thiamine. We touched upon them earlier, its potential roles in DNA repair and cellular signaling. Are you ready to delve into these intriguing areas?
Absolutely. Those hints you dropped earlier have piqued my curiosity. Let's dive into those mysteries. Okay, so we've covered so much ground already, from thiamine's role in a plant's inner workings to its impact on global food security. But there's still a couple of intriguing threads that we need to unravel. You mentioned earlier that thiamine might be involved in DNA repair and cell signaling. I'm really curious to hear more about these less explored aspects of thiamine's repertoire.
Yeah, these are definitely areas where more research is needed, but the preliminary findings are fascinating.
Okay.
Let's start with DNA repair.
Okay.
As you know, DNA is the blueprint of life.
Right.
It contains all the genetic instructions for building and maintaining an organism. And just like any important document, DNA is vulnerable to damage from various sources.
Right, things like UV radiation from the sun,
Mhm.
environmental toxins, or even just errors that can happen during DNA replication.
Exactly.
Those kinds of damages could really mess up the instructions.
Exactly. And if those damages aren't repaired, they can lead to mutations, cellular dysfunction, and even cell death. So DNA repair is absolutely crucial for maintaining the integrity of the genetic code.
So it's like having a team of microscopic editors constantly proofreading and correcting the DNA blueprint.
Right.
But where does thiamine fit into all of this?
Well, emerging research suggests that thiamine might play a supporting role in this repair process.
Okay.
Some studies have shown that thiamine deficiency can actually increase DNA damage in plants, while thiamine supplementation can enhance the activity of DNA repair enzymes.
So it's like thiamine is providing the tools or resources that the repair crew needs to do their job effectively.
That's a great way to think about it. The exact mechanisms are still being investigated,
Okay.
but it seems thiamine might be involved in providing the energy needed for the repair process, or even acting as a cofactor for some of the enzymes involved in DNA repair.
That's incredible. So thiamine isn't just building and protecting the plant. It's also helping to safeguard its very essence, its genetic blueprint.
Yeah.
It's like a guardian of the plant's legacy.
And that brings us to the even more enigmatic role of thiamine as a potential signaling molecule. Now, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. I know we talked about signaling molecules earlier, but remind me again what they are and how they work.
Well, think of signaling molecules as messengers within a plant or really any living organism.
Okay.
They're like tiny couriers carrying critical information from one cell to another, coordinating responses to changes in the environment or developmental cues. It's like a complex communication network within the plant.
So you're saying thiamine might be one of these messengers? What kind of messages could it be carrying?
Well, that's still a bit of a mystery, but some studies have shown that thiamine levels within a plant can fluctuate in response to various stresses like drought or pathogen attack.
So it's like the plant is sending out a thiamine SOS signal when it's under duress.
That's a great analogy. And other studies have shown that applying thiamine to plants can trigger a cascade of downstream effects, including changes in gene expression and the production of defense compounds.
So it's not just about thiamine being present, it's about the plant sensing changes in thiamine levels and responding accordingly. It's like thiamine is speaking a language that the plant understands.
Exactly. And while we're still in the early stages of understanding the signaling role, it opens up a whole new avenue of research into how plants perceive and respond to their surroundings.
It's like we're eavesdropping on a secret conversation within the plant kingdom. And who knows what other secrets thiamine might hold. As we continue to explore its multifaceted roles in plant life, I'm sure we'll uncover even more fascinating insights.
I completely agree. It's this sense of ongoing discovery that makes science so captivating.
Absolutely.
We're constantly peeling back layers of complexity, revealing intricate connections and unexpected mechanisms.
Well, I think we've done a pretty thorough job of peeling back the layers of thiamine today. From its essential role in metabolism and stress tolerance, to its intriguing potential roles in DNA repair and cell signaling, it's clear that this unassuming little molecule is a true powerhouse in the plant world.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that even the smallest things can have a profound impact. By understanding these fundamental processes, we gain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of life and the remarkable resilience of nature.
Well said. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of thiamine, I want to thank you all for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you found it as enlightening and inspiring as we did.
And remember, folks, the world is full of fascinating mysteries waiting to be unraveled. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions.
And a huge thank you to all of you who have subscribed to our channel, liked this video, and shared it with your friend. Your support means the world to us, and it's what keeps these deep dives going. Until next time, happy exploring.